いし制服は着替えたロケットの搭乗員あやがち夢中でもも悪くはないみたいだし目にした自由でなんか自分探し怖いこんにちはこんにちは怖いこんにちはこんにちは怖いこんにちは
Alright guys, let's be real. There's way too much anime out there, and it's impossible to watch it all. But trust me on this, you do not want to miss these 13 crazy new shows coming your way. We're talking insane races, brutal revenge, mind-bending mysteries, and some seriously epic sword-swinging stuff. So, kick back, maybe grab a 𝐒ⴑᴜ𴜏's drink with code Otaku, and let me hype you up on some anime you'll be thanking me for later.
いいじゃん
すまない。よそ見を。
ちゃんと前を見て歩けよ。
Alright, let's kick things off with a show that's pure adrenaline on hooves. 𝐴 Cinderella Grey. Part 2 is back, and it's not just a sequel, it's a full-blown championship race. If you thought the first core was intense, buckle up, because this one's going full throttle. The story picks up right where we left off, with 𝐒ᴜⴜ still reeling from her loss to Tamamo Cross at the Autumn Tenno show, but don't think for a second she's backing down. This season, she's got her eyes locked on the Japan Cup, where the world's best 𝐴 racers are lining up, including the rising star Super Creek. It's not just about winning anymore. It's about legacy, redemption, and proving that heart can beat raw talent. The production team hasn't skipped a beat. Takahiro Miura is back in the director's seat at SIGAM's Pictures, and the animation is as crisp as ever. The opening theme, Spurt Syndromer by 10 Feet, hits like a starting gun, setting the tone for a season packed with high-octane action. But it's not all about the races. The show dives deep into the academy life, where rivalries and friendships collide. New characters like Tony Bianca, voiced by Yuko Kaida, and Moonlight Lunacy, voiced by Akira Sekine, add fresh dynamics to the mix. These aren't just new faces, they're new challenges, pushing 𝐒ᴜⴜ to evolve. The series masterfully balances the sports drama with character-driven moments, making you care about every stride, every stumble, and every comeback. If you're into underdog stories with a side of emotional depth, this is your jam. Now, let's talk about a legend making a comeback. Ranma Half 2024 second season is here, and it's everything you hoped for and more. The 2024 remake already set the bar high, but season 2 is cranking it up to 11. The story follows Ranma Sahotome, a martial arts prodigy, with a twist. Cold water turns him into a girl, and hot water turns him back. It's a setup that's equal parts hilarious and heartfelt, and the new season dives even deeper into the chaos. The premiere on October 4th, 2025 kicks off with Ranma navigating the fallout from season 1, where his dual identity caused more than a few awkward moments at Furinken High. But it's not just about the gender-bending gags. This season explores themes of identity, acceptance, and what it means to be a hero in a world that doesn't always make sense. The animation is a love letter to the original, with modern touches that make it pop. The fight scenes are fluid, the comedy is sharp, and the heart is bigger than ever. Nabiki Tendo, Ranma's scheming classmate, is back to stir the pot, selling photos of Ranma's girl form to the clueless Kuno, who's still convinced the pigtailed girl is a different person. It's a running joke that never gets old, and the new season adds even more layers to the madness. The voice acting is spot on, with the original cast bringing their A game. If you're a fan of classic anime with a modern twist, this is a must watch. It's not just a reboot, it's a revival.
もうビュビュってしたかった。
フェルおじちゃんが頑張っちゃったんだね。また今度ね。
Next up, we've got a show that's equal parts cozy and chaotic. Tondemo skill de isekai huru meshi 2. If you love the first season's blend of isekai absurdity and mouth-watering food, you're in for a treat. The story follows Makoto Tsuyoshi, a salaryman who gets summoned to a magical realm and ends up with the most ridiculous power imaginable: online grocery. Yeah, you heard that right. He can order modern Japanese food from the internet and have it delivered to another world. And guess what? This food has insane effects on the locals, turning them into powerhouses with every bite. The second season, premiering on October 7th, 2025, picks up right where we left off, with Makoto building a reputation as the go-to guy for gourmet magic. The new season introduces even more wild dishes and even wilder reactions. Think ramen that gives you super strength or curry that boosts your mana to godlike levels. The animation handled by MAPPA Studio is vibrant and detailed, making every meal look like a feast fit for a king. The characters are as quirky as ever, with Makoto's laid-back attitude clashing perfectly with the over-the-top reactions of the locals. It's a show that doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's what makes it so fun. If you're into isekai with a twist, this is the one to watch. It's comfort food for your anime soul.
これだけは覚えておいて。これから会う3人のうち
Now, let's shift gears to something a little darker. 괂sīa is a sci-fi mystery that's been making waves, and for good reason. The story takes place on a spaceship drifting through space, where a group of passengers discovers that one of them is a 괂sīa, a shape-shifting enemy that disguises itself as a human and attacks the crew. The twist: no one knows who it is. The only way to survive is to identify the 괂sīa each day and put them into cold sleep. But here's the kicker: if you're wrong, you're eliminating an innocent person. The show is a tense psychological thriller that keeps you on the edge of your seat. The anime, which premiered on October 11th, 2025, spans 21 episodes across 2 cores, giving it plenty of room to explore the paranoia and mistrust that builds among the crew. The protagonist Yuri wakes up with amnesia and quickly realizes they're trapped in a time loop, reliving the same events over and over. Each loop reveals new clues, but also new dangers. The animation produced by Demerica is sleek and atmospheric, with a color palette that shifts to match the mood of each episode. The voice acting is top-notch, with the cast bringing a sense of urgency and desperation to every scene. If you're into mind-bending stories with a sci-fi twist, this is a must-watch. It's like Battlestar Galactica meets The Thing, and it's absolutely insane.
何度でも言ってやるともスカーレット・エル・ヴァンディミオン。今この瞬間をもって
Let's talk about a show that's equal parts drama and revenge. Saigo ni hitotsu dake onegai shite mo yoroshii deshu ka? The title translates to "May I ask for one final thing?" and it's a question that hits hard. The story follows Scarlet, a noble woman whose engagement to the second prince Kyle is suddenly annulled during a ball. But it's not just a breakup, it's a public humiliation. Kyle falsely accuses her of being a bully and a villainess, turning the entire court against her. What does Scarlet do? She goes full revenge mode, committing violent acts against Kyle and his allies. It's a dark, twisted tale of betrayal and retribution, and it's handled with a surprising amount of nuance. The anime, which premiered in October 2025, is a slow burn, building tension with every episode. The animation is lush and detailed, with a color palette that shifts from warm and inviting to cold and menacing as Scarlet's descent into darkness unfolds. The voice acting, led by Asami Sato as Scarlet, is powerful and emotional, capturing the pain and rage that drives her actions. The show doesn't shy away from the consequences of her revenge, making you question whether it's worth it. If you're into dark fantasy with a strong female lead, this is a must-watch. It's not just a revenge story, it's a character study of what happens when someone is pushed too far. Now, let's get into something a little more heartwarming. Tojima Tanzaburu wa Kamen Rider ni Naritai is a show about dreams, aging, and the power of believing in yourself. The story follows Tanzaburo Tojima, a 40-year-old man who spent his entire life dreaming of becoming a Kamen Rider. As a kid, he was obsessed with the show, but as he grew older, reality set in. He sold off his Kamen Rider merchandise and tried to move on, but when he sees criminals emulating Shocker, the villains from the show, he can't help but don a mask and fight back. It's a story that's equal parts funny and touching, with a protagonist who's easy to root for. The anime, which premiered on October 5th, 2025, is a love letter to the Kamen Rider franchise, with references and homages that fans will appreciate. The animation is bright and energetic, with fight scenes that are both over the top and heartfelt. The voice acting, led by Wataru Kato as Tanzaburo, is full of passion, capturing the mix of desperation and hope that drives him. The show doesn't just celebrate the hero, it celebrates the fan. It's a reminder that it's never too late to chase your dreams, even if they seem impossible. If you're into underdog stories with a side of nostalgia, this is a must-watch.
買い物が終わったら寄り道せずに。
もうおばさままでお母さんと同じこと言うんだから。
Let's dive into a show that's all about the grind. �ᴏᴜ no 𝐵ūrei wa intai shitai Part 2. The title translates to Let This Grieving Soul Retire. And it's a cry for help from 𝐴ᴄ, the protagonist who just wants to quit his job as a treasure hunter. But here's the problem. He's too good at it. 𝐴ᴜ is the leader of the Grieving Souls, a party of elite hunters who've taken on some of the most dangerous missions in the world. He's got absolute defense, godlike foresight, and a 100% mission success rate. But all he wants is to retire and live a quiet life. The second part of the anime, which premiered in October 2025, picks up right where the first left off, with 𝐴ᴜ trying to avoid the spotlight while his party members, like the troublemaker Liz Smart and the alchemist Citri Smart, keep dragging him back into action. The animation, produced by ZeroG, is sharp and detailed with a focus on the intricate mechanics of treasure hunting. The voice acting, led by Kensho Ono as 𝐴ᴜ, is full of dry humor and sarcasm, making him a protagonist you can't help but love. The show is a mix of action, comedy, and drama, with a story that's both absurd and relatable. If you're into isekai with a twist, this is a must-watch. It's not just about the adventure, it's about the cost of being the best.
サンダ一茂。
やめて、フルネームで呼ぶの。本当に何？俺何かした？おかしいでしょ。
Now let's get into something a little more whimsical. Sanda is a show about a middle schooler named Kazushige Sanda who discovers he's the descendant of Santa Claus. But this isn't your typical Christmas story. In a near-future Japan with an extremely low birth rate, children are treated as national treasures, and Sanda's newfound powers are put to the test. The story kicks off when Sanda is attacked by his classmate Fuyumura, who wants him to find her missing friend, Ono. It's a setup that's equal parts funny and heartfelt, with a protagonist who's just trying to do the right thing. The anime, which premiered in October 2025, is a mix of action and comedy, with a focus on the bond between Sanda and the children he protects. The animation is bright and colorful, with a style that's both modern and nostalgic. The voice acting, led by Shoya Ishige as Sanda, is full of energy and charm, making him a protagonist you can't help but root for. The show doesn't just celebrate the magic of Christmas, it celebrates the power of belief. If you're into heartwarming stories with a side of action, this is a must-watch. It's a reminder that even in a world that's falling apart, there's still hope.
本当に待ち遠しいのだ。
そうだな。お、ずいぶん落ち着いてるな。
Let's talk about a show that's all about defying expectations. Mushoku no eiyu betsu ni skill nanka iranakatta ne daga. The title translates to Hero Without a Class. Who even needs skills? And it's a question that hits hard. The story follows 𝐴ᴜ, the son of a legendary sword princess and magic king who's deemed classless at age 10. In a world where everyone gets a job or skill that shapes their future, being classless is a death sentence. But 𝐴ᴜ doesn't care. He's determined to succeed through hard work, even if it means everyone looks down on him. The anime, which premiered in October 2025, is a mix of action and comedy, with a focus on 𝐴ᴜ's journey to prove that skills don't define a hero. The animation produced by Studio ACAT is sharp and detailed, with fight scenes that are both intense and creative. The voice acting, led by Kensho Ono as 𝐴ᴜ, is full of passion and determination, making him a protagonist you can't help but root for. The show doesn't just celebrate the underdog, it celebrates the power of perseverance. If you're into isekai with a twist, this is a must-watch. It's a reminder that even without a cheat skill, you can still be a hero.
作戦も何もないでしょ。私がさーっと言ってパパッとまとめて片付けてくるわよ。
Now, let's get into the big one. One Punch Man 3. The wait is finally over, and Saitama is back to save the world again. The third season, which premiered on October 12th, 2025, picks up right where the second left off, with Saitama facing off against the Monster Association and Garou, the martial arts prodigy who's on a rampage. The animation, handled by JC Staff, is a step up from the previous season, with fight scenes that are both fluid and explosive. The story dives deep into the psychology of the heroes, exploring what it means to be strong in a world that's constantly under threat. The voice acting, led by Makoto Furukawa as Saitama, is as deadpan as ever, capturing the boredom and frustration that comes with being too powerful. The supporting cast, including Genos and King, get more screen time, adding depth to the story. The show doesn't just celebrate the hero, it questions the cost of being one. If you're into action-packed anime with a side of existential dread, this is a must-watch. It's not just a fight, it's a journey.
そろそろゲートが開くわよ。やっと元の世界に戻れるわね。
待て、まだ準備中だ。
Let's talk about a show that's pure fan service, Isekai Quartet 3. The third season, which premiered on October 13th, 2025, brings together characters from Overlord, Konosuba, Re:Zero, Tanya the Evil, Shield Hero, and the Eminence in Shadow for another round of chaos. The animation, produced by Studio Puyuki, is as chibi and cute as ever, with a focus on the comedic interactions between the characters. The story is light and fluffy, with a focus on the absurdity of bringing together so many overpowered characters in one place. The voice acting is top-notch, with the original cast bringing their A game. The opening theme, Isekai Concerto, performed by the main characters, is a bop that captures the energy of the show. The ending theme, Kimi Iro Boku Iro, is a heartfelt ballad that adds a touch of emotion to the chaos. If you're into crossover anime with a side of nostalgia, this is a must-watch. It's not just a show, it's a celebration of the isekai genre.
確かこの辺なんだけど。
山田時ヒューマンがぼーっとしてんじゃねえ。
Let's dive into a show that's all about revenge. Shinjiteta nakama tachi ni dungeon okuchi de korosarekaketa ga gift mugen gacha de level 9999 no nakama tachi wo te ni ireti moto party member to sekai ni fukushu and zama shimasu. The title is a mouthful, but the story is simple. Light, a human adventurer, is betrayed and left for dead by his party members in a dungeon. But he's not done yet. He gets a gift, an unlimited gacha that lets him summon level 9999 warriors who swear absolute fealty to him. The anime, which premiered in October 2025, is a mix of action and comedy, with a focus on Light's journey to take down his former party and the world that wronged him. The animation, produced by JC Staff, is sharp and detailed, with fight scenes that are both intense and over the top. The voice acting, led by Wataru Kato as Light, is full of rage and determination, making him a protagonist you can't help but root for. The show doesn't just celebrate the revenge, it questions the cost of it. If you're into dark fantasy with a side of absurdity, this is a must-watch. It's a reminder that even in the darkest moments...
A fellow hitman. That looks like the silent assassin.
Alright, saving the best for last. This one's a hidden gem you absolutely can't miss. My Status as an Assassin. Obviously Exceeds the Heroes is a fresh take on the isekai genre that premiered in October 2025 and has been turning heads ever since. The plot centers on Akira Oda, a high school student with elite stealth skills and a quiet demeanor. Along with his classmates, Akira is unexpectedly summoned to a fantasy world to fight the Demon King. Sounds pretty standard, right? But here's the thing. While the others get flashy, overpowered cheat abilities, Akira is handed what looks like a mediocre set of assassin skills. But don't be fooled. His status and power quickly prove to be way beyond the heroes. The anime takes you on a wild ride through Akira's journey as he navigates this new world. He's not just sneaking around stabbing enemies. There's a thick layer of political intrigue and mystery. Akira is deeply suspicious of the summoning king and princess, and his assassin talents become tools for digging up secrets and exposing plots. The show balances thrilling action sequences with moments of quiet strategy, which makes the pacing perfect for anyone who loves both edge-of-your-seat fights and intelligent storytelling. Okay, that's it. 13 insane anime that are seriously worth your time. If your fave isn't here, spill the tea in the comments. I want to know what you're binging right now. Don't forget to smash that like button if you dug the vid and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future anime gold. Alright, that's enough chit chat. Go watch some anime and I'll catch you in the next one.